Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing German Summer in the Fog. Yesterday, Sleuth was packing his bag in something that's a bit of a tight fit. Not surprisingly, now that he's packed his suitcase, he is traveling, and he's turned up in Germany, I guess hiking there through some fog and mist in the background all over Germany. Though looking from the beautiful countryside, some of the castles and churches, etc., maybe it's looking a bit more like Bavaria. Kind of reminds me a little bit of our summer holiday last year, where we did end up driving around Europe. The picture that you see in the background reminds me probably more of Austria than Germany, but to be fair, there's a lot in Germany that looks very much like what you see in the thumbnail here. Now, today's puzzle is from Megan 033, and when I saw yet another fog puzzle from him, and a 1-star difficulty rated one, I knew that we are going to be in for a bit of a good time. Now, let's not take my word for it. Let's actually take a look at today's puzzles and rule sets. I say puzzles. Puzzle. It's just the one. So, rules-wise, normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Then we have the German whisper line. Adjacent digits along a green German whisper line must have at least a difference of 5. So if this cell here is a 2, you've got 3 neighboring digits that would have to be from 7, 8, or 9. These are the only digits that are going to be allowed here because they're the only ones that are 5 or more away. Notice this pattern of high digits that are 6, 7, 8, 9, low digits that are 1, 2, 3, 4, and you oscillate between them. Not much of an oscillation, to be fair, right now in the example that's given here. What else do we have? Digits along a thermometer. So, pardon me, digits along each thermometer must increase starting from the bulb end. That's an example of a thermometer here. So, whatever is in this cell, let's say that's a 1, the next cell along has to be bigger. So, it could be a 3, for example, it could be a 4. That would also be fine. It almost doesn't matter what they are as long as they are bigger. What I cannot do is go to a smaller digit as I go further away from the bulb. That no longer works. I also can skip digits, as I clearly did with 1 to 3, then immediately to a 4, then again skipping another 5 in here. That's all allowed. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2 to 1 ratio. So if this cell here was a 1, this would have to be a 2, so that essentially one cell is double the other. You could also think about it differently. If this was a 2, this could be 1 or 4, both of which would be allowed. Let's see, what else do we have? So, black dot, 2 to 1 ratio. Not all dots are given. If that was a 2, and I'm kind of struggling to come up with good examples. Let's try if that was a 6 and that was a 3, clearly one cell is double the other. That is not a problem. The absence of a black dot doesn't stop it from happening. Adjacent cells with an X must sum up to 10. So when this cell here was a 2, this would have to be an 8 to make sure that these two cells do add up to 10. The grid is partially covered with fog, kind of fairly obvious, and correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. So if that was 6 in my previous examples was correct, then all of the surrounding cells, some of which are clearly covered in fog, these 3, will be revealed and will hopefully allow us to progress. No guessing is required. Kind of key clue here that we really should be able to solve this entirely logically. So that's all the rules we have for today. So if you feel like going for a stroll through a German summer in the fog, or if you just want to solve this particular puzzle, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. Right. So actually, I'm just going to double check. Yeah, that does show up. Number of times I've recorded without it showing up. In my many examples that I went through, it really showed how restricted box 5 is. And by the way, Megan033, thank you so much for actually having all of the variants visible inside one box, so it's easy to explain. Right, let me just do something fairly quickly. So we know that polarities are different. They oscillate across German whisper lines, so we know that the purples are all going to be the same, whether they're low or high. This is going to be different. A 10 always has one high and one low, so this will be the opposite one. None of these cells can be a 5. So I know 5 is restricted to these 3. I'm just thinking this doesn't feel realistic. 5. So let me think about this. If this is 6, that would be 3. Sorry, that would be 4. And then this would have to be lower than 5, so 1 or 2 would work. So this actually works. This can be a 5. Thing is, can this be a low digit? Let's just think about this for a second. If it is a low digit, I'm just gonna, I mean, this would have to be 6 or 8 because it's in a black Kropke dot. If it's a 6, that would have to be a 3, and that would have to be a 4, and that breaks. So 6 doesn't work. 4 to make it add up to a 10 with a 6, and then 6 with a 3, and this is apparently 3.5. So 6 is off the table. 8 with a 2, and now requiring a 4 that is lower, that is higher on the thermometer, that is higher at the bulb, and then the 2 is clearly lower than the 4. So we know that for sure that purple is low and orange is high. Right, that does limit our options quite a bit. Now, I'm just thinking how low. So for example, here's another one that doesn't work. 3, 6, 7, that's 6.5. So that doesn't work. So this is from 1, 2, and 4. What does 4 do? 4 does 6, does 2. It kind of works, doesn't it? I don't see a problem with that. And that would be a 9. I mean, this is 8 or 9 anyway, since these have to be from 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And there's 3 different ones, so there's at least a 3 on here. So this has to be at least an 8. So 4 in here works. What does 2 do? 2 would put an 8 in here, which would force a 9 up there. And an 8 in here doesn't work, because that would be 9, that would be 10. So 2 doesn't work, and I'm guessing 1 doesn't work. It has to be 4. Kind of unexpected, but yeah. 2, 9, 1, 3. This has to be well, it's not a high digit anymore, is it? It's not 1, 2, 3, or 4. It has to be smaller than 6. That is a 5. And we know the order of these, so that's 7 and 8. Lovely. That's our break-in. Sorry it took so long. I think it's worthwhile being cautious just to get stuck in correctly. What are we doing next? So this is not a 2-8 setup, because this cell can't be either, but we could do pretty much anything else. Just have to be careful about the order of the 4s and 6s and 7s, but not that restrictive. Where am I going next? I mean, I can see that this German whisper line loops as such, so we can play our polarity trick as usual. I don't know what these cells are. If this is high, this would be 7 or 8. And then that would be another 7 or 8. Because essentially it's a white Kropke dot. I didn't actually mention that in the rules. Yeah, I skipped it. A white dot between cells indicates cell values that are consecutive. Sorry. So if this is high, this would be 7 or 8. And this cannot connect to 6 or 9. So it would be another 7, 8. Interesting. And then this would be from 1, 2, and 3. Not a 2. So far, looking quite feasible. The alternative, of course, is that this is low with 1, 2, or 3. 7 and 8 in here almost certainly will make this a 9. I can't have a 6 with a double 1. And therefore this would have to be, again, 7 or 8 can't have a 6 with a double 1. And then this would be again 1, 2, 3 because the 4 is limiting it. So interestingly, This is always orange. It's the same polarity as whatever's in this cell. This is not a 5. Obvious now that I spot the 4 and 6 in the column, so it was always going to be the same polarity. All useful? Not really giving me my next digits, is it? This can't be 1, but it can be 2. This can be 3, and this can be 4. So I can make this like really low. This can't be a 3 with a white Kropke dot because 2 and 4 is not available. So this is at least a 5 now, given 4 is not available. And 5, 6, 7 means that this is 8 or 9. Starting to get a bit more interesting. And this cell can go 5, 6, or 7, not 8 and certainly not 9, because that would make this 10. If this is 5, that would be 6, because the 4 is not available. If this is 6, this is 5 or 7. And if this is 7, well, it can't be 8, it is 6. So this is from 5, 6, 7, which means there's a definite 6. When it comes to white Kropke dots, one of them is going to be even, one of them is going to be odd. 2, 4, and 8. Again, I'm kind of missing some very obvious things here. All the evens, 2, 4, and 8, 3 of them are done. That has to be a 6. Don't know why I made this so awkward for myself. So this is somewhat limited in terms of options. It's not 1, 3, but it can be 4. It could be 5, but no higher. Because either this is a 6, in which case that has to be 5, or this is not a 6, this is a 6, and therefore this is 5 or 7. And clearly the higher of these two digits, that would be 7, that would be the 5. So no higher than 5. Again, no progress. Right, let's think about the 10s. I mean, with the white Kropke dot, we're kind of limited. 6 is in one of these cells, just Sudoku. Again, not very helpful. Right, 1, 9, I think both ways work, don't they? No, this can't be a 9 because that would be an 8 and then it would break this cell. So that's not 9, that's not 1. 2 and 8 we've already established doesn't work. 3, 7 would require a 7 up here and 3 down here because of the 7. And this would be 2 or 4. And the 1, this would be a 2. Last option was 4 and 6. And we, again, are restricted on options. That can't be a 6 because of what we've done here. So this is 1, 3, 2, 4, 7, 9. Interesting again. No conclusion. So if this is low, it's not 1 or 3, it's 2 or 4. What does that do? It gives us a 2-4 pair. The 4 in here would force this a 9, which is fine. If this is 4, that would be 2. That would be 9, that would be 7, that would be 3. That all works. If this is 2, that's 4, that's 3, that's 7, and this is 8 or 9. And again, it works. So one last thing we haven't been revealed is, we haven't really thought about, is this thermometer. Sorry, so like I've kind of coming to the conclusion that the German whisper line right now, not hugely useful. I seem to be able to continuously prove that everything seems to work. Thermometer can't be a 2, could be a 3 and a 4, because it can't be 2, meaning that this is at least a 5. Well, it was never a 4. And therefore this is 6 or 9. If it's not a 5, can't be 6, but it can be 7 or 8. And if this is not a 3, it could be 4, can't be 5, could be 6, could even be 7. 7, 8, 9, and a 6. Not great. 3 would put a 4, 4 would put a 3 because it's not a 5, 6 would put a 7, again not a 5, and 7 would put 6 or 8. So I seem to be, oh hang on, what am I doing? The thermometer hasn't stopped. For some reason, my vision of it stopped. That is a 6. That is useful. And therefore, this is minimum of 5, maximum of 5. I'll take it. 6 and 7 are gone. That makes this a 3-4 pair. That makes this a 1. That makes this a 3. And this is 1, 2, or 3, depending on what this is. This is 7, 8, or 9. Yeah, I'm really making this quite difficult today. 11 minutes in, and I'm not really picking up pace. It is a bit late in the day once again for my recording, so it's not unusual for me to be a bit slower. I imagine for some of you guys, this may be painful watching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a high digit, and it's not 6. This is 7, 8, 9. What is this cell? It's not 6, 7, 8, or 3, 4. So it can be a 9 with a 1, or it could be 1 and 2 with 8 or 9. So that's the full pencil mark for these cells. I'm going to come back to this German whisper line. Like, we've got to... It'd be lovely if this is 7, 8, and it's not 7, 8. If this is 7, 8, take a look at what happens to box 8. 7, 8 is none of these cells, and it can't be this cell because there's 7, 8 in here. So apparently we're going to have to place both of 7 and 8 in this single cell. That's not going to happen. So this is 1, 2, 3 with a definite 2. More importantly, orange is low, purple is high. This is not a 9. I'm okay with basically anything else though, isn't it? This could be a 3. I mean, 6, 7, and 8 places a 9 here for sure. And we said this is not a 6, it's not a 9, this is 7 or 8. This 9 gives us options, doesn't it? This 7 or 8 removes options. This is limited to 1, 2, 3. It's definitely making you work for every cell. Compared to the last couple of days where we've had much more approachable puzzles, I'm struggling with this one a bit. That's not a 9, that's not a 1. Struggling is pushing it. Just, let's say I'm not smoothly solving. 4 is up here. So essentially we have another 1, 2, we have another 4, and a 5. And the 4 and the 5 are not this cell. So this is 1, 2. This is a 4, 5 pair. Okay. This has to be a 9 now because, I mean, Sudoku. So that's 9. Then in here we have another 7, 8, and then 1 of 1 or 3. And the 1 of 1 or 3 is not in these two cells. It's in here. This is 1, 3. There's a 7, 8 with a 6. So this is 6, 7, 8 with a 6 to finish. This is 7, 8. Okay. Slow but steady. Let's just keep moving. What can I do with any of this? Again, not seeing it. So this is high, and it's not 9. This is 6, 7, 8. Therefore, this is not a 4. This is another 1, 2, 3. So we've got the 1s, 2s, and 3s placed. We have a quadruple of 6, 7, 8, 9. So really, the remaining digits are 4, 5, and another 1, 2, 3. This can be a 6 with a 1. Would make this 7, 3. It's fine. 7 would make this 9, 1, and this would make this a 2. 3 would force this to be an 8, of course. And that would be 1, 9. It's always 1, 9, I'm finding. If it's 6, that's 1. No, it's 3, 7. Okay. Move on. I say move on, but to where? Is there like some very obvious Sudoku I'm missing? Often the case, I know. So the rest of this row is another 8, 9, another 1, 3, another 2, 4. Can this be a 3? Yes, that could be 8. This is not helping. Wasn't expecting to be struggling so much with today's puzzle, so I don't know what's going on actually. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just systematically going through and seeing what digit can I not place. Basically, which of these options can I eliminate so I can actually place a digit and hopefully make a bit more progress from here. Such as, this is a 7, 8, 9 triplet, and I missed the fact that this is a 6 and this is a 1 all along. Whoops, that's not a 1, that's a 3, that's a 7. That's not a 7, that's an 8, 9 pair. The rest of this is 2, 4, 5. Chances are that there's a 2 up here and that's not a 2, because otherwise how are we going to disambiguate? But it's actually possible that there's something in the fong that we're not seeing that would help. So no 1s, no 3 6s. This is 2, 4, and 8. There has to be a 4 between them. That's a 2. Are there any ones that I can eliminate here? Not really. Hasn't helped. Yeah, it has helped. That's 7. Remove the 5, 6 option. That's not a 5. This is 2 or 4. 5, 6. Let's think about the remainder of this row now. 1, 3, 9. 3 is not here. This is 3. This is 1 and 9. The 1 has to be in here. The 4 could be either side. And then the 8, 9. The 8 could be either way. Not helpful. Can I do, yeah, 2 has eliminated 2, 4, 8 option. This is just 4, 8 now. Two is none of these cells. It's got to be in here. It doesn't necessarily force this one to be a 2. I'm going to have to be very careful. It took me a long time to see the triple. So I'm just going to carefully avoid over pencil marking, because as you've seen, I regularly struggle with that. There's a 5 in one of these 2 cells. That's the 5 because of this 5. This is a 4, 8. These 2 cells, well, they're not 8 or 9. They could be 7, 8. They're not 6. They're not 5. They're not 3, 4. So this is either 1, 2, 3 with a 2. So that would be the 2. That would be the 1, 3. Or it's 7, and it's not 7, 8 because 8 and 9 are both in here. So I think this is somewhat forced. Let me just double check. Can't be 3, 4. Can't be, it can be 4, 5. No, it can't be 4, 5. 6. It can't be 7, 8 because the 8 is gone. It can't be 8, 9. Yep, forced. I'm happy with that. That's not 2. That's a 1, 3 pair. That's a 4. That's a 3. Has that 2 helped? No. That's not a 2. The 2 is up here, kind of as we originally suspected, but couldn't prove. There's an 8, 9, and a 7 in here. No, still fighting every step of the way. Fascinating puzzle. Come on, Sleuth, what's going on? There is 1, 4, 8, 9. So the 9 is in here. The 4 and 8 are not known. The 2 is up here with a 4. Hang on, no, we need more digits. 7. The 7s are lining up. So the 7 is up here. And so 7, 2, 4, 8. So they can be 2, 4, and 8 all in here. Right. Thermometers, surely. No. 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 None of them. Two and 3 are different. There's definitely a 3 in here. That's an 8. 6 and 7 tells me that's not the 7, because the counterpart clearly has to be different. That's 6, that's 7, that's 3, that's 2, that's 3, that's 2, that's 1. Progress. That's 1, that's 3, that's 4, that's 8, that's 4. These are not 4s. That is a 4. That 2 helps me with the 5, the 2, the 4, and the 5. Getting somewhere now, clearly. This is 2, 7, not resolved. That 8 has given me a 4 down here. So I'm left with 1, 8, 9 in there. That can't be a 1, clearly. That's the only place for a 1. The 8 and 9 will be connected to 7, 8, or 9, all of which works. One of these two cells is an 8. Usual trick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have essentially another 5, 6, and another 8, 9, which gives me a 7, 8, 9 triplet, kind of a virtual. Essentially, I'm looking at what's left. No. Yeah, 8, 9, and 5, 6. And that gives me a triplet of 7, 8, 9. Let's keep it this cell. And what else do I have? 3 is down here. 3 is just placed. That's 3. 7, 8, 9 are gone. This is not 1, 2, 3. 4, 5 possible. Possibly even likely, actually, because with these 4s lining up as such, Sudoku says that 4 is restricted to these two cells. I'm not going to pencil mark. 5, 6 also possible. And that's the end of them, actually, because 7, 8, 9 are gone. 5, 6 is not possible because the other 5, 6 is in here. So no 6s. And therefore that is 5, that is 4. So 5, 6 is actually a 6 because it's not a 5. So that's the 5, that's the 6. So we have a 6, 8, 9. And then a digit, 2. 7, 2, not the 7, that's the 7. Don't need these anymore. 6, 8, 9, not resolved. Huh. 1s, that's the only place for a 1 now. 2, 3, 4 can only be in here. 5 can only be there, if I can type it. Then we have 6, 8, 9. This is not the 8 or 9. That's the 6. Then we do have an 8, 9 pair. The 8, 9 pair seem to be regularly showing up. Can I do anything about this? 2 gives me 1, 2, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9. Not 9s, that's a 6, 8 pair. That's as far as I can take it at the moment. Up here, what can I do? 3s I can place. 4, 5, 6. I don't think I can. It's 1 of 2 cells. So this is 6, 8, 9. With a definite 6. That's not an 8. This is another 8, 9. It's not an 8. That's a 9. That's an 8. That's a 9. These are not 9s. Therefore, that's a 6. That's an 8. That's a digit I can just place. It's a 7. The 9 gives me 1. Gives me 9. 26 minutes. What do we need in here? I need the 1, which can only be in here. I need whatever this digit is. 6. Therefore, 8, 7, 8, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. That's 5. And if I've not made any mistakes, 7 for the finish. Beautiful puzzle, Mega No Double 3. And not my smoothest solve by a long stretch. And I'm not sure. It's not like the puzzle was hiding. It took me a long time to see this triple. And I think after that, it shook my confidence a bit, where it meant that I was just constantly scanning as opposed to just intuitively finding where I should be actually placing the next digit. My solution aside, it doesn't make this anything other than a great puzzle, which I hope that you guys enjoyed, maybe the solve as well. See you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.